You know, I welcome the discussion about ethics reform. What I notice is that this body has a habit of prescribing rules and standards for other people and then not looking to its own problems, whether it's Obamacare or initially it was you all follow these rules, something different for us, or whether it's what's happening right now, where, for instance, in the last Congress, 1 in 7 members of the House and the Senate, 1 in 7, that's a big number, violated current laws on the books, the Stock Act, by failing to report their stock trades properly. 97 members of Congress, House and Senate, or their spouses or dependents traded on companies that were directly affected by the committees they sit on. More than 1 in 5 of senior federal officials in the executive branch currently hold stock in companies that they were supposed to be regulating. And there has been a series of reports in the press recently about the Department of Energy in particular, where a huge number, I think it's 2/3 or more, members can look to make sure that I'm getting the statistics right, a huge number of senior officials in the Department of Energy currently own stock and trade actively in stock on companies that DOE has direct oversight of. That includes the Secretary of Energy, who represented to Congress under oath that she had no individual stock. It turns out she did have stock. She was trading that stock. It included companies that DOE has direct oversight of. Now, Senator Welch mentioned earlier that Americans are surprised at some of the ethics requirements that are or are not in place at the U.S. Supreme Court. This is one when I talk to people at home about members of this body owning and trading an individual stock, or members of the executive branch owning and trading in stock of companies that they're supposed to be overseeing, people are shocked that it's even legal. So my proposal is a simple one. If we're going to talk about ethics reform, let's make sure we're looking at ourselves as well. So I'm proposing here to amend this provision, this bill before us, to include a ban on stock ownership and trading for members of Congress and senior executive branch officials. It's a bipartisan bill. Senator Gillibrand and I have introduced it as a standalone bill. I've converted it here to an amendment, and it would impose across-the-board ethics reform and make this uniform in the sense that we would be addressing ethical lapses that are real and pressing in our own body, in our own House, as well as the executive branch. And I ask for a roll call vote.
Thank you, Senator Hawley. This amendment seeks to prevent members of Congress and the executive branch officials from owning certain securities and investments while they serve in those positions. We should have a conversation around legislation to ensure members of Congress and executive branch officials aren't engaged in insider trading. This is an important subject that the Senate can and should address, and I'll join in that debate. Unlike Congress and the executive branch, the Supreme Court is not bound by any ethical code of conduct. That is the purpose of this hearing and the pending legislation. That's why we're focusing on it today. Turning our attention elsewhere is a distraction. I'll therefore oppose the amendment. Anyone else seek recognition? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Feinstein.
Aye.
No.
Oh, excuse me, no.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No by proxy.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No by proxy.
Mr. Coons.
No by proxy.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No by proxy.
Ms. Hirono. Mr. Booker.
No by proxy.
Mr. Padilla.
No.
Mr. Ossoff.
No.
Mr. Welch.
No by proxy.
Mr. Graham.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Grassley.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Cornyn.
No by proxy.
Mr. Lee.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Cruz.
Aye.
Mr. Hawley.
Aye.
Mr. Cotton.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy.
Aye.
Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tillis.
No by proxy.
Mrs. Blackburn.
Aye by proxy.
Chair Durbin.
No.
Mr. Chairman,
Who seeks recognition? Senator Ossoff?
I'd like to be recorded as an aye on this vote, please.
Senator Klobuchar?
I was not briefed on this by our staff, so I'm going to vote no for now, but I'm going to look at it later on. Thank you. I have just very big concerns about ethics in this place right now.
Chair Durbin, on this vote, the ayes are 7, the nays are 14.
The Hawley Amendment is not agreed to.